Divine greetings, ones and zeros, zeros and ones, boys and girls that are now men and women, kings and queens, gods and goddesses, spiritual beings of this divine matrix. Welcome. My name is Clay. Today I want to talk about inferiority complex in relationships and in particularly between men and women in a relationship. And I've done something on this before. However, based on what a viewer had asked me to clarify, that's what I'm clarifying in this video. And I'm seeing that I'm learning even more about myself as I rewire my mental in these shares, in these videos. So to begin this share, I want to emphasize the dualistic relationship that exists in the planet, on the planet. And to emphasize that, I want to talk about the colonizer and the colonized as it relates to the captor and the abuse, referring to Stockholm syndrome. Now, this is the relationship dynamics. It's always a dualistic approach. So in the case of a relationship between a man and a woman, there is the masculine and the feminine, which is similar to in relationship to the colonizer and the colonized, or the captor and the abused. Or another relationship is the sacrifice and that which is in relation to the sacrifice. So I'm not quite sure what that terminology is as I'm thinking about it now. Something that is sacrificed, like for example, in the idea of Christ being sacrificed, then there is the other that benefits from the sacrifice. So that's another relationship. I'm going to have to look up a terminology for that. However, in a relationship, it's similar. At least in my relationship, I know that it has been similar. And in all relationships, there's always a dualistic dynamic. In my particular relationship, I was being a narcissist and my partner is being the empath. So that is similar to the colonizer and the colonized, except it's in a more benevolent way where she is the empath, she's the sacrifice, and I am the one who's benefiting from the one who's being sacrificed. Now I'm speaking like this openly, fluently, now. However, there was a time when I would never speak like this because I was not healed enough to understand the dynamics that play out in life. So going forward to the inferiority complex. So this is how there are inferiority complexes in relationship. And as I've spoken before, that in a relationship, a man is going to have to face that he's actually inferior to a woman being superior if he hasn't been made aware of this. This is what is in our soul as human beings. We face that challenge of the inferiority complex. One way or the other, it's going to be there. Even when you have a man and a woman both being the empath, one is going to be more empathic than the other, and they will have to adjust, they will have to adjust their happenings, their actions based on that awareness. So now, in my case, what I particularly want to talk about is my discovery of my attraction to voluptuous and plush women. In previous videos, I mentioned that they were big women and also their body type was of a different nature. I've since found a better word to use, which is more suitable with my conscience, because I was using it before and it was disturbing to me. I found it to be judgmental. So now, to continue, I discovered that I have an attraction for voluptuous plush women, and voluptuous plush women of both black women and white women. And this is contrary to my partner, because my partner is a thin black woman, and a thin black woman whose skin is lighter than mine. My skin is like this. Hers is, she has a little lighter skin. She's a black woman but lighter skin than I am. Now, when we met, we knew that we weren't each other's type. And that was something that was kind of strange for us, because we knew that we weren't each other's type, but yet still we had this attraction to each other. So our body type, we weren't each other's body type. And I wasn't her physical type. She wasn't my physical type. And we didn't know why. Well, I didn't know why. She was more forthright, and her stance has always been the same. Let me correct that. She knew herself way more than I knew myself. She knew that I wasn't her body type or facial type. It wasn't so much body, but it more facial type, and my hair and the way I carried myself wasn't her type. However, she knew she had an attraction for me, as well as I had an attraction for her, as I was the one who approached her. And in approaching her, she gave me the time of day, so to speak, and eventually developed some kind of attraction, or developed an attraction based on me approaching her and her giving me the opportunity to court her, so to speak. So now this was earlier on in the relationship. We've since been together for what has it been? Since 2015, so 10 years. And it was in 2020 when I had the schizophrenic break, when I had the mental break. And this attraction to voluptuous plush women didn't come about until, or I wasn't made aware of it until 2022, more so in 2023. So that is 8 years after. And it's on the back of also a further mental break, you could say, or deterioration of my mental state. I made a mistake. I became even more egoic after the mental break. I was doing well after the mental break, and I hit a point in my healing where I became more egoic. And in becoming more egoic, I developed a fantasy. And that fantasy was coming out of an obsession that I had, and I wasn't aware of it. And this obsession that I had is with the attraction for voluptuous plush women. I had no idea this was who I was. So now, to get to how it is that I got to that point is to I was doing inner childhood work. And in doing inner childhood work, I recognized when I was talking to my 3-year-old. And let me mention here also that the inner childhood work that I was being directed to by my partner is someone on YouTube by the name of Vicky Howie. You can search for Vicky Howie Inner Childhood Work, and I'll leave a link in the description for her channel, as well as my partner's channel, because my partner has a channel also. So anyways, I was doing inner childhood work, And in doing inner childhood work, I was in a meditative state. I went back to, or you could say I went forward to my 3 year old. And it was then that my 3 year old told me, or reminded me actually, of a time when my mother had shamed this other voluptuous plush woman, and I repressed my attraction for that woman because I had an attraction for that woman. At the time, it wasn't a sexual attraction, of course, because I'm a 3 year old, but I had an attraction for that type of woman. For some reason, I equate that type of a woman to be more of a nurturing type of woman. And I'm going to correct myself and right now, it's not for some reason, for soul contract reasons. I have a perception that this type of a woman would provide me with the nurturing that I need. So my 3 year old unveiled that memory to me. And that is how I found out that I had this kind of an attraction. Now, mind you, this is in or on the back of me being in a relationship with a more thin body type woman. So that automatically unveiled also a type of inferiority complex within me for her, because now I'm in a relationship with a thin woman, and my desire, my true desire, you could say, yes, my true desire is for a voluptuous plush woman. So that in itself now poses a contradiction. However, we've since been working on it in terms of trusting each other and trusting that we can overcome our physical desire. Because that, even though that's my true desire, that is more of a physical desire based in the physicality of things. And we're trusting that I will be able to transcend that desire. And also, we're in a partnership state where physicality is not a primary part of our relationship. And this gives each other the time, not even each other, it gives me the opportunity. So again, she's being the sacrifice. It gives me the opportunity to transcend my physicalities, to be in my higher self, so that I can be a more ascended being in this lifetime. Now, that poses challenges because, let's say, for example, when we go out on the street, if there is something that is bothering me, and this is how the attraction comes out. If there's something that is bothering me, or if there is something that she does which makes me feel less than, makes me feel inferior to her, and this is by no fault of hers, it's my fault. However, if she does something that makes me feel inferior, I will want to not be in the relationship. And in not wanting to be in the relationship, I will have the desire to leave the relationship for this type of a woman, for a voluptuous plush woman. And I'll give you a quick example. I've given this example before, where we were doing grocery shopping, and in doing grocery shopping, she told me to put the groceries in a specific area of the car. And within me, I'm hearing my 3-year-old, 4-year-old, I'm hearing my inner child saying that we don't want to put it there. We want to put it somewhere else. And why do we have to listen to her? And in so hearing this, I know that there's something that is bothering me. So when I check what is bothering me, it's because, correction, when I check what is bothering me, it's that prior to this event, in going into the store, there was an attraction that I had. And instead of bringing out the attraction, to her and saying, hey, I'm attracted to that lady. Because that would mean that we can have a conversation about the previous thing that's bothering me, because it only comes about when something is bothering me. So that would give us the opportunity to look at what is bothering me. Instead of doing that, I repressed and suppressed that emotion, that emotional desire. So my 3-year-old was confessing to me that I had hid something from her, from myself, and in so doing, now it has to come out in another way. Now it comes out in me not wanting to do what she's telling me to do, or what she's asking me to do, rather. Because she doesn't tell me what to do. She asks me to put the groceries on this side of the vehicle. So that is how in the relationship something may come up, and I feel the need to expound further. So here we are. I'm giving the example. Here we are. We're going to the store. We go to the store, my partner and I. We go to the store. However, something was bothering me before we actually got to the store, right? So I'm already in an inferiority complex state, but I repressed it. Now we're in the store and I see a voluptuous plush woman, right? In seeing this voluptuous plush woman, I have an attraction. Now I don't always have the attraction. However, this time I have the attraction. And in having that attraction, I know that there's something in the back of my mind, in my gut actually, in my sacral chakra, because the sacral chakra has to do with creation. What you create is done through the sacral chakra, because that's the emotion chakra. And emotions is energy in motion. And there's two types of energy in motion. There's a fear energy and there's a love energy. Love energy is the benevolent and fear is the malevolent. Fear energy, the acronym is false evidence appearing real. So I felt it in my sacral chakra because I knew that I was guilty of something. I had created something now and I was repressing my creation. So in repressing my creation, thankfully, as I've done my soul work and I have to keep doing my soul work, I'm in tune with my chakra centers, with my body. So in knowing that I created this, I have to now go into my soul body to see what it is that I have created. And here I'm looking at it and I'm saying that, okay, at the home, before we went to the store, my partner had asked me to do something. And it took me away from being on social media. And what I was doing on social media is that I was looking at something that I wanted to look at. And when she asked me to do something, I felt snubbed, right? Instead of dealing with it, instead of telling her, hey, I felt snubbed. And it's possible that I was snubbed truly because she's dealing with the children and all these things. So her energy can come across as aggressive. So in it coming across aggressive, then I, being distracted, took that aggression as something to bitch about or to moan about or something to belittle her about because I'm feeling inferior to her superiority, right? Instead of humbling myself and seeing that she needs help with something. So that was before we went to the store. And then we went to the store, that repressed emotion now wants to come out. And the way it comes out is in my desire for these voluptuous plush women. In the store, I further repressed it. So now when I got out of the store and we were putting away the groceries, it came out again, right? It came out loudly this time. Now this time it came out auditorily. In my mind, I can hear the discussion between myself or within myself about why it is that we have to put the groceries where she wants to put it, and so on and so forth. So that is how I have to remain attuned to my system And we have since dealt with that particular incident. Now, that is just one incident. There are many incidents that show the same inferiority complex between a man and a woman, between me and my partner, as it relates to a trauma that I have uncovered. Now, uncovering the trauma doesn't mean you heal the trauma. It doesn't mean you don't have temptations from within the trauma. It's kind of like a person who loves chocolate, right? And they realize that too much chocolate is not good for them. In fact, they become diabetic, so now they can't eat sweets or they can't eat chocolate. They still have the desire for chocolate. However, now they know that they should not eat chocolate, right? It's kind of like that, or an alcoholic or something like that, where you still have the desire. However, you know better and you know exactly how it is that you got to the point where you're having the desire for the chocolate or desire for the voluptuous plush woman. So that has to do with the my 3-year-old. The other incident was at 9-year-old, I was watching this movie called Mississippi Burning. And in watching that movie called Mississippi Burning, I saw the way how society was treating black people versus white people. And seeing how society treats black people and white people, the colonized and the colonizer, how that relationship was taking place. Within me, what was happening is that I knew that I wanted children. So in wanting children now, I'm looking at the best opportunity to have my children be successful in life. Everyone wants, this is a natural process. You want naturally to be quote unquote successful. And being that I was indoctrinated into this way of civilization, this way of life, I, through my trauma, projected onto my 9-year-old from even that same 3-year-old that the best way to do this is to have a relationship with a white woman. Now, that trauma is a little bit different. However, it's very similar because within my 9-year-old is the is my divine will, is the divine will chakra, and that is mixed with the personal will. So it was at 9 years old that I decided in my personal will that I'm going to go for, it was revealed that a white woman would be best suited for me to procreate with because my children would be more successful. Okay, so now as it relates to the white woman, how that plays out in inferiority complex with my partner is that a black woman is the most superior being of all human beings. There's the black woman, then there's the black man. Then there's the white woman, and then there's the white man. As it relates to my soul contract and what I came here to experience, I came here to experience transcending being, having the natural desire for a white woman, having the natural desire for a voluptuous plush woman. These desires are physical desires. They are true desires, however, they are physical desires. In my soul contract, I have it so that I am here to transcend that. I'm here to transcend having the physical desire for a voluptuous plush woman. I'm here to transcend having the physical desire for a voluptuous plush white woman. In the case of the white woman, it's a little bit different in terms of the who I procreate with and having the mentality that procreating with this type of woman will bring forth this type of child, and as a result that child will be more successful because they will have a lighter skin, and therefore society will automatically through the default benevolence force in society, they will be treated better. They will be treated more favorably. They will be given more privileges, right? So that has to do with the white woman. And is there something else? Let me check. Now, the thing that I want to end this transmission with, end this share with, is the rewiring of my own mental to remind myself that when I was about 20 something years old, my father had told me upon meeting my who's a woman who's now my ex-wife, that women are stronger than men. And he had told me this, and when he told me this, that women are stronger than men, that those were his words. What he is actually saying is that women are superior to men. I not only couldn't believe it, I took offense to it. And I saw that he wasn't, in my mind, I was telling myself he wasn't well with what he was saying. And he also said never to tell a woman this, because then she'll use it against you. Now, having that understanding, I know that within life, within society, it's proven masculine and feminine. The feminine is the superior. The feminine is the closer to God, right? The feminine is the closer to source. The feminine is the instructions. The feminine is the nurturer, right? All these things are superior qualities. The feminine is made to bring forth the instructions on how it is that she is going to have a child. All these things are superior qualities, right? So everyone within their consciousness, within their soul contracts, have these knowledge. It's a matter of who is willing to be aware of it per their soul contract, or who is willing to accept and acknowledge that this is the modality of life. That being said, me being the man that I am, being in tune with the soul contract that I know that I have, see that women are superior. And even in seeing that women are superior, I still have the ego to contend with, as well as the woman has her ego to contend with, and to do the right thing. So this is dealing with the multi-dynamic self, the multi-discipline aspect of human relationship between man and woman. There is no greater technology than that between a man and a woman as it relates to particularly bringing forth a child and nurturing that child into a family setting, so that that child can be successful, so that they all can be successful examples of using the technology of human to its fullest potential, to its divine purpose, to its being in sync with divinity. And with that, I'm going to say Ashe, Amen, and Namaste. And remember to like, comment, subscribe, share if you dare, and in particularly comment if there's something that I have said that is not coherent in your eyes. Then allow me to see that it is not coherent in your eyes, and perhaps it's not coherent in my eyes, and I can shed some light, or you can shed some light on the matter in the comment section. With that, I say, each one, reach one, teach one.